with yourself, I guess, as a survivor of trafficking and these kind of things? Because this has been a kind of I've learned a lot following this case, I guess. Um,
Mhm.
but one thing, and I've particularly started noticing this recently, is the downplaying and the misrepresentation of the Loverboy method of trafficking. That to me is very, especially for these young girls as well, for them to be so gradually kind of groomed with false romance, that to me feels like
Mhm.
that
It's
kind of hold that the trafficker builds over them must be
yeah.
so strong. I'm not sure if you've experienced something like that kind
Well, that's exactly what
of
I
using
experienced.
romance.
That's absolutely
Okay.
what I experienced was
Wow.
an adult male luring me in under the false guise of romance as a 12-year-old and manipulating my mind because of it. And so, yes, absolutely. They wouldn't probably be able to have access to that girl if it weren't for that false guise of love. So that's exactly why it's wrong what they're doing. And I saw his attorney, that complete piece of human garbage that is trying to justify getting them off the hook for trafficking because, well, the girls loved them or liked them. Well, that's ludicrous. In our highest nature spiritually, we love everybody. So there's always going to be an aspect of everyone we meet that we love something about. That doesn't mean that we should just turn a blind eye to the very evil things that they're doing. And so, yes, it's very common for predators who are, these are sexual predators. At the end of the day, this is what it is. They are sexual predators, and using the feminine's heart and her love and her affection for them to get access to her, to turn her into a prostitute so they can profit off her, is absolutely horrific. And it's very common tactic that's used in trafficking. Very common. Pimps will even street pimps, like total low vibratory street pimps in the gutters and alleys of Las Vegas, will still lure that person into having some type of affection or feeling for them, because if the victim doesn't have compassion, so that's what they're doing, is they're using the compassion of the victim against them. This is like a chakra reversal, and they're taking advantage of the empathic, compassionate nature of that soul and using it against them. So instead of being compassionate for yourself getting trafficked, you're compassionate against your perpetrator. And this is what Stockholm syndrome is. Stockholm syndrome is a psychological phenomenon that happens to victims who become more empathic to the perpetrator than they do to their own self, because while they're in captivity or whatever the circumstances are, they develop compassion for their perpetrator. And then when the police come to ask them, well, did this person do this wrong to you? They can't stand against their perpetrator because they now have Stockholm syndrome, which is again a psychological understanding, and you can research it. That Tate's girls that are defending him right now are dealing with Stockholm syndrome, and Stockholm syndrome can take decades before the soul can come out and go, oh wow. There's so much psychological work that will have to be done for that soul to really work through that before they can face the fact that, oh my gosh, I was giving all my compassion to them when I was the victim. It's a deep study.